Hey there, good morning, and welcome to Wake Me Up. As always, I'm your host, Tyler, and I'm so glad that you're here today, because in this motivational morning wake up, you'll have the chance to do some self-reflection, and you'll find inspiration to become the person that you've always wanted to be. And you can start this episode whether you're up and about already or if you're still in bed. But wherever you are, I want to begin by asking you a question. Who do you think you are? What do you see when you look at yourself? What are the adjectives you would use to describe yourself? And your answer today is probably very different from what your answer would have been a year ago or even a week ago. You may think you've changed a lot and become an entirely new and different person. Or maybe it's the opposite. You think you haven't changed at all. You're stuck in your ways. And maybe these views project forward as expectations into the future as well. But what if I told you the way you see yourself can drastically change your experience of life? And I'm going to tell you a story about a friend of mine that will help you see that. But before we do, let's take a moment just to pause. Enjoy just a few seconds here for yourself, before the day begins, before everyone else is clamoring for your attention. And take a deep breath in. Hold at the top. And as you exhale, release any judgments or labels that you put on yourself. Once more, inhale and feel the freedom of just existing and being here in this moment. Hold and exhale, again releasing any labels, any judgments you've placed on yourself. Great. Now, if you're in bed, I recommend using this moment to roll over, make your way up, and get your morning started. And wherever you are, feel free to do whatever it is you like to do with your morning. Whether that's making a pot of coffee, having a little stretch, or going for a walk with your dog. Do whatever you'd like to do with your morning. And just let me be your morning companion as I circle back to this idea of self-image. And I want to tell you about that friend of mine. Let's call him Nate. Nate and I have been good friends for a long time now. We've been by each other's sides through every roadblock and every excitement that life has thrown our way. One thing that I've noticed over many years is that we tend to react to these inevitable changes in life in very different ways. Nate often mentioned how envious he was of my ability to stay positive, even when things seem bleak. I wish I was that kind of person, he would say, but I'm such a pessimist, it's impossible for me to see the bright side of anything. Nate believed that he was just unlucky and the world was out to get him. And if you were to ask Nate to describe himself, he'd probably say that he's an awkward pessimist who doesn't really get along with many people. And here's where this really starts to become a problem. The world has found ways to affirm exactly what he believes of himself. Our thought patterns are largely the product of repetition. The mind is capable of incredible things. Despite many illogical feelings we experience, we can train it to see things more positively. But the opposite is true too. The thoughts we put into our brains and the thoughts we repeat build up over time, and they create this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, when Nate said that he was unlucky, his brain would latch onto moments of misfortune to corroborate that statement. And so no matter how amazing his day was, those unlucky blips always stood out. And in Nate's mind, he always remained unlucky. Just like Nate, so often we give ourselves labels without a second thought. We might begin a statement with the words, "I'm the kind of person that," fill in the blank, and define ourselves in a few words. You can find things to support those definitions all around you, from political parties to socialization styles, to the ads you get served on social media. I urge you to notice how often you create labels for who you are. You'll find it in the simplest statements, like, I'm shy, or I'm not really an outdoorsy person, or I can't cook. It seems innocuous, but repeating these statements to yourself over time will train your brain to prove that those statements are right. So if you're like Nate and you see yourself as a pessimistic person, try flipping that narrative and start telling yourself that you are a positive person, and really try to believe it. Start looking for moments in your life when you do see the bright side of things. And perhaps the most important thing to recognize here is that these narratives and these labels we create for ourselves, they can change just as easily as we make them. All it takes is changing that language. So if in the past you've been one way, you are free to be completely different in the future. We all have a dream of who we wish we were, or the person we hope to become one day. The truth is, you already are that person. You have all of the tools and knowledge to become everything you want to be. And what you don't know, you can learn. My friend, you can be anything, but you can't be everything. So the key is figuring out exactly who you want to become and going straight down that path. So I'll ask you again, who do you think you are? And I'll follow that up with this question. Who do you want to be? Many words may come to mind, but really, none of those words come even close to capturing a true picture of who you are at your core. You might be shy now, but you could change that. You could become more extroverted. You could become a public speaker. The core of you is always there. And trust me, it is grand enough to contain every side of who you are. My friend, your potential is unlimited, and it most certainly cannot be defined by words, because a word in and of itself is a limitation. By calling something a tree, you've also stated that it is not a million other things. So embrace every side of yourself and begin to think of yourself as the person you want to be. Your thoughts have power, and it's true. You can be anyone you want to be, just as long as you believe it. If you change your self-talk, your brain will follow suit and find proof of what you say to yourself. So there's no need to limit the grandness of your being. You have infinite potential to be every sort of person you could dream of. But choose carefully, because those thoughts have power. If you feel like there's something missing, someone greater you're supposed to be, then choose to wake up every morning and decide for yourself what kind of person you are. Don't let other people decide for you. Don't let society decide for you. Choose your own definition. Choose to define yourself for who you want to be, and the rest will follow. You already are loved, positive, and full of the potential for immeasurable joy and success. But you have to be the one to bring that into existence. So try it and see for yourself. Pick one thought that you'd like to be a mantra for your day today, so that you can create a better day, a happier day, a more fulfilling day. And repeat that to yourself as you go through the day. My friend, to become the person you dream of being, you don't have to change who you are. All you need to do is change the way you think of yourself. You already are the person you want to be. You just need to believe it. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining me here on Wake Me Up. I hope you're feeling inspired to go out today and start becoming the person you've always dreamt you would be. I hope to see you back here soon, and until then, go out and have an absolutely fantastic day.